So a lot of offense, a lot of freedom of movement, which has been a big emphasis, just a lot of things that the WNBA is trying to show. Hey, we care about our product and we want this product to be watchable. They're still proving themselves every single game because you're going to have these random people watching and they know, wait, this might be their first game watching and it could be their last game watching if they're not interested in the product.
That I make you drop a dime for, because my rhyme's cleaner than a three-piece at time for. And now it is time for me to be back on my bully. Investing this fully, I'm back on the track.
Welcome into Splash episode 2, and guys, I'm going to be very transparent. I tried to record this once and my audio decided not to be here. I just decided not to set things up right. So this is take 2. Hopefully if you're hearing this, that means it went through and we did it just fine. But a women's basketball show that discusses women's basketball, the WNBA, when Unraveled's here, Unraveled, when the college basketball season's here, college basketball, but just shining a light on something that deserves to have a light on it. If you have not seen episode 1, that is what we do here. We are same way you see First Things First or First Take, and they talk about all the big things in the NBA, the NFL, and other sports. We want to do the same thing here with the WNBA. Not debate, obviously. I'm by my lonesome. But just wanting to shine a light on the women's basketball game because the women's basketball game is so good. There's so much good going on, and we're going to talk about a lot of the good going on. And without further ado, let's get right in to all the good that is going on in the WNBA. So first, I know we're talking about some good, but unfortunately we have to talk about a little bit unfortunate. Rickea Jackson out for the season this year with a torn ACL. Some of this news that we're going to be talking about, guys, has already gone on. The first episode that I did was about 2 weeks ago today, actually, it came out. I did my preseason predictions. We're going to be coming more consistently than just 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, it's going to be hopefully every Tuesday and Friday we're going to be aiming for here. But if you guys haven't, just in case, hit that subscribe button so you subscribe to the channel, you can grow with us, and then hit that notification bell so every time that we do upload, you know. But Rickea Jackson out for the season. So unfortunate because she was balling. Obviously, she had that unfortunate situation that went on earlier on. We don't need to discuss all of that, but she had that little unfortunate situation that was during their Unrivaled time. Comes into the season, she's on a new team. We'll go from the Sparks to the Chicago Sky. She's got Sky Diggins. She's got Camila Cardozo. She's got Gabriela Jaquez. She's got a team. She's got a squad there that can actually compete. They've competed so far this season, but ACL, non-contact injury, unfortunate. You see these things happen in the league. Cam Brink happened to her last year. It happened to multiple people throughout. It's just so unfortunate to see all the stars that are playing in the game getting hit with them ACLs or long-term injuries. So speedy recovery to Rickea Jackson. She's putting up 18 points a game on 40% shooting this year. Hopefully she is going to be able to make a swift and smooth recovery. My goal is for her, my personal goal is to see her possibly during Unrivaled. That might be a little too early, but obviously towards the beginning of the WNBA season, I would love to see her next year. So all prayers up to Rickea. Hopefully she has a speedy recovery in that. But from something that was bad, of course, to something that could have been bad, but ended up not being bad. Jose Fernandez, new coach of the Dallas Wings, was speaking, and a little bit ago after their loss to the Minnesota Lynx, he spoke up. And I'll read this quote here in just a second, but for those who don't know what had happened, Jose Fernandez, straightforward guy, was talking about the effort and the selfishness of the team, the Dallas Wings, that is, and what the team was playing like, and he let into him. He said, it's real talk. It's accountability. That's what I told them. I go, there's a selfishness in this locker room. There is. You got to look in the mirror and be accountable on how you played, and don't get upset if you think that you should have played more, you didn't play enough, or you didn't get to see the shot that you should have gotten. Goes on to say, really good teams, they don't give about that. You know what they do care about? They care about winning, because that's all that matters. I decided to, keep that a little PG there. But he was serious. He was right there. And as a new coach coming in, that is extremely tough to sell to your locker room. Like, hey, guys, this is how it's going to be. This is what's going on. And calling your team out publicly within that, within the first 3 games of the season. That doesn't land well with a lot of teams, or it does land well. And it's landed well with the Wings, apparently, because they've responded and they have played very good basketball. They blew out the Mystics, and then they beat the Chicago Sky the other night, and Jessica Shepard had a triple-double. They're playing well. You don't know if those comments were directed to Paige Beckers, who is not selfish, but obviously someone who, the more and more she goes on, the more and more she's looking for her shot, because she should. The thing that Gino hated the most about Paige at times, I think he's hated really loosely, but it was just the fact that Paige didn't shoot enough. So you have that. You have AZ Fudd, who a number 1 overall pick coming off of the bench. You don't really see that all that often, especially with somebody of AZ's caliber coming from a program like UConn. But when you have Arike, when you have Maddie Siegrist, when you have others in front of her, she finds obviously her way into the rotation, of course, but is that directed towards AZ? Is it directed towards Arike, who is known to put up a shot or two? Not that she is a selfish player, but she is a player who is one of the best one-on-one players in the league, and she utilizes her skills. So all those players could have taken that to offense, but all of those are grown women who have been coached by a lot of very, very high-end coaches. So between Muffet, between Gino, I mean, there's so many good coaches in the college basketball game. So those kind of quotes spark them, and we'll see if it can continue to spark them. I do like the realness. I do like the authenticity, and that shows that he has a pulse on this team. He has understanding on this team. So the Dallas Wings, they might have found themselves a long-term coach, or it's going to be a short tenure if things like this continue to happen, but we'll see. He pressed the red button early. You can't continue to go to that red button, but he pressed it early, and hopefully he doesn't have to go press that button multiple times, because then you're going to start to ruffle some feathers in that locker room. But overall, I liked his comments, and I wanted to quickly speak on those comments. But red button was pressed early. He can't do it too many other times, or I think the locker room's going to start to not turn on him, but at least the message is not going to land the same. But hey, it is what it is. We're moving on, though. The WNBA season obviously is underway, and this is 1997. This is the inaugural season. Well, hold on. Let me get to this view. We know it is. We know it is. We know what it is. Year 30. And I wanted to do a quick comparison between all the years, like within decades, because I want to highlight how good and how fun this year has already been, and how it's going to continue to go with the way that it's gone. So 74 points a game, the LA Sparks, they led. That was 1997. They led with 74 points a game. In 2006, I'll give you a little bigger view. 2006, it was the Mercury at 86.8, the DT team. They were cooking. They were doing well. But after that, everybody else was in the 70s, a couple in the 60s. There's one team in the 80s. Really, the Mercury were the anomaly. They were the team that were balling out on everybody. Then we get to 2016, we get to more of what we see traditionally in today's game. 86 from the Sky, 86 from the Lynx, the Mercury get 85, and you continue down and down. We still have the Stars, they're at 72, but overall, low 80s is what we're averaging per game, kind of per team. So you're getting to see those higher and higher end scoring games. You obviously have those explosion nights every now and again, but this is more of the W that you're used to seeing now. This is when you're having more of those players funnel in, and they're like, oh, let's be WNBA players, let's be WNBA players. Because you have to remember, this is the 30th year. They're still in their infancy. This is like this. I always compared this, and obviously I haven't done it on this channel yet, so I'm going to quickly do it before I go on. I always compared this, obviously, to the NBA, and you think about it, I always felt like Caitlin Clark and Paige, because I thought they were going to come out the same year, obviously same draft class, or same high school class. Obviously, Paige stayed back year eligibility with the injury. She wanted to get it done at UConn, which she did. But I always felt they were going to be Bird and Magic. I thought that senior year they were going to both play together, play against each other for the national championship game. I had called this like 3 years ago. Unfortunately, it was for the Final Four. And then I thought both of them were going to go to the league and make the league something. That was my initial thoughts. I thought they were going to be the Magic and Bird. It ended up being Angel Reese, because you got the black-white thing, you've got the popularity, the different styles of basketball, you've got all of that. So you have to remember, though, that the WNBA is in its 30th year. They're still in the infancy of the league. They're still growing. There's a lot more growth. Obviously, it's 2026, so there's a lot more scope, and there's a lot more obviously media and everything like that that's going to be on the league. So they're going to always compare it to the NBA, compare it to other major sports because that's the culture that we live in today. But you have to think, where was this NBA in the 80s, in the 70s? They weren't, best teams weren't even playing against each other in the 70s. I mean, I have this book right here, Loose Balls, the ABA book, that ABA, I mean, that was still a thing. So overall, and also, I know you guys just saw this mound of clothes behind me. I know I'm horrendous. I need to fold laundry. But we have the ABA here. Obviously, that was there in the league. So the league's still growing, and it's going to continue to grow. And how it looks in 20 years from now is going to be so different. So Caitlin Clark being one of the pioneers, Paige Beckers being one of the pioneers, Angel Reese being one of the pioneers for the second generation. Obviously, not talking about the originals with Swin Cash and all Lisa Leslie's, the Lobos, and all those kind of players there. But anyways, you get to see going into this portion what the league is starting to really turn into today. And then last year, I compared it to the beginning of the league because last year you had two 5-0 teams. You had the Lynx coming off of a finals berth. You had the Liberty coming off of a championship where they played each other, and both of those teams started off extremely hot. The Sun were a very young team. They just drafted Sanaya Rivers. They just drafted Anissa Morrow, and they were coming out. They weren't really a great team at that point in time. They still had things that they were trying to work out. And then the Wings, obviously, they had Paige, but they weren't doing great either. There was a lot of low and a lot of high. There wasn't a lot of middle. A lot of middle. And when it comes to scores, last year, let me go back real quick. Last year, one team in the 90s, team in the mid 80s, and then a lot of teams in the 70s range, even last year to start off the season. This year, 4 teams in the 90s, a lot of teams in the high 80s, only one team in the 70s, and they're really close to being in that 80s. So a lot of offense, a lot of freedom of movement, which has been a big emphasis, just a lot of things that the WNBA is trying to show. Hey, we care about our product and we want this product to be watchable, because obviously you want defense, and every woman in the W, they do play defense. They play hard on each and every possession because they care and they have to. They're still proving themselves every single game because you're going to have these random people watching and they know, wait, this might be their first game watching, and it could be their last game watching if they're not interested in the product. And obviously, they can't just go into every game like, oh my God, we got to do this for everybody else. But they still carry that chip on their shoulder in the back of their mind. They know it's not like the NBA where you could watch a Timberwolves and Sixers game, and if Tyrese Maxey isn't going off, it's like, people aren't going to watch me next game. They know it's like, oh no, I'm Tyrese Maxey. I can put up 30 on any given night. And especially when it's time to money time, people are going to watch us. So the WNBA are still in the proving stages. They're still proving, and that's what they're doing right now. And the game has been more and more fun the more it goes on. So I've been really, really excited about what I've seen thus far, and I think it's going to continue. And that has led to a logjam in the standings. I mean, overall, you've got the Aces at the top, the Valkyries, who we're going to talk on more here in a moment, in the second, the Dream third, and then there's so many teams with 2 or 3 losses, then a couple with 4, and one of the 4 lost teams is the Phoenix Mercury, who we know has a lot of talent on that roster, and they look like they could be a playoff team at any point, so they'll be there. I mean, obviously, the Liberty are the 8th seed right now. If they win, if they were just to win their game and no one else was to play within that line, they would move up all the way to the 3. So, that's how close things are. But obviously, it's going to be that close. This is the beginning of the season. But at the same time, it shows these teams aren't really just highly separating themselves, and they're not, oh, okay, we're so far away from these other teams that we can't even compete. So that's what I'm loving about the WNBA so far. There's been so many good games. Fever versus Wings that open up on opening day, even though there was games before. Mystics Fever, OT, Liberty Mystics, OT, Dream Aces, Asia 45. There's just so many other games. Portland Fire versus Liberty, Sarah Ashley Barker with a game winner. There's just so much been going on in the WNBA. Love it. I love it. And it's been hard because it's like, wait, there's this game on here, but then it's like, wait, the Spurs and Thunder are now on, or the Timberwolves when they're playing them, and it's like, oh, Knicks, Hawks, Knicks, Cavs. It's just like there's so much NBA basketball going on, and if you like hockey, I mean, Montreal's gone to Game 7 and back-to-back series. It's been so much going on. The beginning of baseball, obviously, Shohei Ohtani, every time you want to see him. So a lot of sports going on right now. couple in and just mix in, like, hey, a few weeks ago we had the NFL draft. Obviously not during the season, but there's just so much going on right now, so you can't always catch everything. But during the summertime when they have the full spotlight, make sure you're catching every game that you possibly can, because these women are putting out a great, great product. And speaking of putting out a great product is what the Valkyries are doing right now. My goodness. Golden State Valkyries, like, they're 3-1. Most of the teams so far have been exactly what I thought. I think Portland's been a little bit better, and the Toronto Temple have been a little bit better than I expected to, but I knew they were going to go out there and play hard because all these players are playing for, like, contracts and proving themselves. Like, wait, you guys didn't want me? You guys didn't want to keep me, or what? And then they're going out there and they're proving themselves. Bridget Collins is like, no, I can really hoop. Like, let me go out there and go shoot it. Let me go out here to show you. So the Valkyries, though, I thought they were going to take a little bit of a step back because I think they have everything but a star, like that star to galvanize around. And they're like, hey, Keenan, we don't care. Like, they remind me a little bit of the Bulls teams in the 2010s without Derrick Rose, when it was just Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, and Carlos Boozer and others, and they're like, hey, guys, we're just going to go out there and play defense, work as a team, we're going to go, and we're going to go. I mean, Veronica Burton, who we'll talk a little bit more about later, playing like one of the best facilitators in the league right now, so Luna's shooting the thing. You've got Gabby Williams, one of the best Swiss Army knives in the league. Kayla Thornton can play defense. This team can just D up. They can lock up. So when you can play good defense, you can put yourself in any game, and especially when you're playing with high energy and effort, getting out in transition, trying to get on the break, and then that building is live. We know how they can get for Steph Curry and the Warriors, and they've brought that to the Valkyries. You can get Brandon Pajemski sitting front row and going nuts. I mean, it's fun. Just a fun atmosphere, fun team, and really hopeful that they can become something big, because I think that they would be great for the league. That's one of the fan bases that I think is just going to continue to grow and become one of the best fan bases if they're not already in the WNBA. But, guys, there's this thing that I'm wanting to do every week. I don't know, with me wanting to go more and more days, obviously Tuesday and Sunday, make sure, again, guys, hit that subscribe button so every time we upload here at Splash, the Women's Basketball Show, But I want to highlight a bunch of different things. So we're calling it Splash Highlights. Might be Splash Player of the Week, could be Splash Moment of the Week, could be Splash Team of the Week, could be whatever. Could be, if it was Jose Fernandez, could be Splash Quote of the Week, could be whatever it is, but we're just going to Splash Highlight. And right now, we're the Splash Highlight. We're going to be highlighting 4 players. It was going to be 3. And then I did some more thinking, I did more looking, and I was like, if I don't highlight this 4th player, I suck. Like, I just don't even, just turn the platform off. Like, don't even watch. So I had to highlight this 4th one. Let's start. First Splash player. First Splash highlight. Jessica Shepard. We spoke on Jose Fernandez a little bit earlier, and Jessica Shepard responded to that by being very good in the blowout and then getting a tripped up. She's putting up 12 points. She's putting up 10 rebounds. She's putting up 7 assists. She's top 4 in rebounds and top 4 in assists in the league right now. Only 1 turnover. 7-to-1 ratio is insanity. Obviously, she is not the main ball handler. That is Paige. She's not even the secondary. That would be Enrique. But in the half-court offense, they do run a lot of their half-court sets through her because she has the ability to pass at a high level. She can make plays out of the post, high post. She can screen and pop, screen and roll. She can do a lot. Jessica Shepard is a very talented player. So, I mean, she has opened up a lot for this Wings team. She's been the most important addition for them thus far. Obviously, they got Alana Smith, who is co-defensive player of the year last year. She can play. You get AZ in the draft. You have Enrique. You have Paige. You have Lee Yaroo, who has been better since her time in Unrivaled. She's gained a little bit more to her game. Maddie Segrist, Isaiah James off the bench. You still have JJ Quinterly, who gave them good minutes last year. I mean, there's a lot of talent on this roster. It goes up and down. So this is a team that, with Jessica Shepard playing at this level, with Paige playing like a top 5 player in the WNBA, which she has so far this season, Enrique playing like a star as she is. You have AZ coming off the bench, and she's finding her footing right now, playing better and better. And especially, she can be kind of what Dylan Harper is to the Spurs for people who watch both. I mean, you have Cooper, who was, I got to be out there. I got to be a superstar. That's Olivia Miles. We'll talk about her in a moment. Obviously, not even close to the same play style, but the number one person on a team right now that's her thing. Obviously, on the links, they've got Courtney Williams. Nafisa's waiting in the wings because she's recovering from an injury. But Olivia Miles, they gave her the keys right now and said, hey, take us there. Once Nafisa comes back, we'll work her in. Then you've got people like Flage, you've got people like Lauren Betts who have been working and integrating themselves into the system. Then you've got someone like AZ, who is a top pick, but still coming off the bench because there's so much guard depth. That's the De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle behind Dylan Harper. In the same way, you've got Paige and Enrique, and then you've got AZ coming off the bench, where she might not win Rookie of the Year, but in the playoffs, you might look over and be like, is that the best rookie I'm seeing this year? I mean, the way Dylan Harper's playing right now, you're like, is that the best rookie I've seen this year? Obviously, Cooper was amazing, but it's the same kind of situation. But Jessica Shepard in this roster, not to just take away from Jessica, who I'm highlighting, but this Wings team overall, but Jessica Shepard has been just elite, and she's going to continue to be elite. What a pickup for this roster, and it really helps them really be a championship contender. They're a legitimate threat to win it all this year. The second person, Veronica Burton. She's played so well this season. 14.5 points, 3 rebounds, 7.3 assists. She is third in the W in assists, shooting 87.5% from the line, 38.1% from 3, 35% from the floor, not turning the ball over well with being the primary ball handler on that roster. I mean, she is just playing such good basketball right now with the Valkyries team that's playing such good basketball, and we got a good one tonight. We'll talk about that a touch at the end, but we got a good one tonight with them in the Fever, so that's exciting there too. But Veronica Burton has just been playing such quality floor general basketball, and that's all you can ask for from a team, and especially a player that didn't get much run prior to being on the Valkyries, and that's showing like, hey, I'm not just like a decent player, like I'm a real player in this league, and I can easily start on any team in the league if I wanted to, because I'm just really that good. So I wanted to shout out Veronica Burton. Third, we talked about her a little bit, Olivia Miles. Obviously not Cooper flag when it comes to, oh, she is 6'10 with athleticism and things like that. But no, she's got some freaky athleticism for herself as a guard. She's quick. That first step is nasty. The vision, you can't teach it. 5.6 assists, 9th in the WNBA, shooting 50%. She's comfortable from the floor, comfortable from the line. Hasn't taken too many threes yet so far this season. I mean, she's superstar written all over her. There's nothing getting in her way, and I don't know if anyone's watched a bird's eye view. She does a lot of things. She talked to a lot of players last year. She's already talked to Olivia Miles. Actually just did one with Lauren Betts. I haven't even watched that one. That one came out today, I believe, but she talked to Olivia Miles, and Olivia Miles just has that dog mentality, that mindset to want to be great. So Minnesota got him on with that. Minnesota's going to be fine for just a while. Then the FISA, Olivia Miles pick and roll is going to feed families for a long while. And she's going to win Rookie of the Year this year. She's got future All-NBA first team, future All-Star, future Olympic gold medalist, future everything on her board, MVP conversation. She's got it all. She's total package because she cares, and she's going to only do everything she can to improve her game. That's where I mentally had it at the end. Then I was thinking to myself, I was like, what am I doing? There's another player that I need to talk about. There's another player that needs to be discussed because she's just amazing. And there's no way this highway robbery can't be discussed. I mean, let's talk about it. Kennedy Carter. Highway robbery. The fact that the defending champion said, hey, let me add a top 10 scorer in the league so far who is top 5 in field goal percentage this year out of anybody in the W. And the only people ahead of her are 2 people who have barely taken a shot this year, who are shooting 100%. Natasha Mack, who is a big, and her running mate, Alyssa Smith, who is another big, who are taking not even half as many shots as her. So she is just getting buckets at a premium. She can get out and run. She's a tough cover. We know obviously what was going on with her playing tough defense on Caitlyn and all of that conversation a couple years ago for the Sky. She took last year off from the W. She said, hey, I'm coming back. The Aces said, me, come over here. And now teams are going to have to go into the scouting report and be like, okay, guys, so how do we stop Chelsea Gray and how do we stop Jackie Young? That's difficult. Obviously, we know Asia's on the scouting report, and it's like, oh, wait, off the bench, how are we going to deal with Kennedy Carter? Yikes. Okay, thank you very much. So she's helped lead the Aces to being the best team in the league thus far this season. They're going to continue to be that for a long while. And, I mean, they're going to be one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to win it all. And this is going to be a big reason why. She has been just sensational this year thus far. 19 points in less than 22 minutes a game. She's about a point a minute. Just insanity. Just quite insanity. But before we get out of here today, a couple games that I wanted to quickly touch on because we've got a great slate tonight. Wings versus the Dream. That's going to be a fun one. Alicia Gray, Angel Reese versus Paige Beckers, Enrique Agumbawale, and others, obviously Ryan Howard as well. So you've got a few number one overall picks in this game. This is going to be a high-level, high-intensity game that I'm excited to see. Atlanta, one that, I mean, I should probably get to an Atlanta game. I'm not too far from there. I got to get down there to watch something. Then we've got the Valkyries facing the Fever, both at 7:30. So I'm going to have to be watching those games and then being like, hey, I got to halfway through it. I got to tune into this Spurs game. Shout out Spurs Digest. Shout out to Spurs. But I got to tune into this game here because obviously the Spurs are my team. But the Fever and Valkyries is going to be fun. Caitlin's probable tonight with the back. She should be fine. Aaliyah Boston, who sat out one game, she was back last game and she dominated last game. She should be good. So it should be a full, on both sides, should be fully healthy rosters. And then we got a battle between two young teams in the Sun versus the Seattle Storm. I know those teams aren't the greatest, but both teams, young players, should be a fun game to watch. But overall, we got a good slate of games tonight. We've got a good slate of games almost every night, and that's just because the WNBA has so much talent in it. We're ready for 20 to 22 teams because there's just that much talent to be had in the league. That's why there's not such a high gap between one and the bottom where it comes to wins, loss. Obviously, one in the bottom for sure, but like the mid there's just so much talent. So teams are just going to be playing back and forth. So you look at the Mystics, you're like, man, they're not going to make the playoffs with Kiki Iriafin, with Sonia Citron. They just drafted Lauren Betts. They got Georgia Amore. They got Shakira Austin. They're not going to make just teams like that. You're like, wait a second. The Sky could miss the playoffs this year with Sky Diggins and Camila Cardozo, Gabriela Jaquez, and others. Like, that's how deep the league is. So, fun. Make sure you guys are watching, having fun, enjoying the league, and enjoying what we have here. But again, if you got to this point, guys, hit the like, leave a comment. Appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so every time that we upload here, you get it. We'll be more consistent as the year goes on. Shout out to Danny, got her wisdom teeth out today. Hopefully she's doing all right out there. But this has been Splash, the Women's Basketball Show with your host, Keenan Warner. I appreciate all of you guys. And guys, I'll see you again very, very soon.